Today's top news headlines. MPCC calls for repeal of AFSPA from Northeast. Assam Rifles disrupting goods movement, says drivers. And Manipur adds 18 COVID-19 fresh infections, 2 fatalities. Good evening and welcome to Pony Television, giving you the latest English bulletin at 7 p.m. I'm Loving Remai, now the news in detail. Joining the call for repeal of Armed Forces Special Powers Act AFSPA 1958, the Manipur Pradesh Congress Committee MPCC on Monday pressed the state government to send ministers to Delhi and push for the demand. They should put pressure on the Prime Minister and Union Home Minister to act on. PCC Working President K. Meghachandra told a press conference at the Congress Bhavan in Imphal. The Manipur unit of the Grand Old Party wants repeal of the controversial act from the Northeast, including Manipur. Meghachandra also pointed out that the disturbed area status is within the purview of the state government and hence it can remove the status anytime. He suggested that a cabinet meeting decided soon, which will pave the way for removal of AFSPA. He said the Manipur government needs to create the situation. He cited the government's claim on significant improvement in law and order situation in Manipur and demanded that the disturbed area status should be revoked by the state government. In the aftermath of the December 4 Oting killing in Nagaland, which has sent a shock wave everywhere, especially the Northeast where AFSPA is still enforced, governments and civil bodies in the region have been calling for repeal of AFSPA, saying the act has enabled serious human rights violations. According to the center, the AFSPA is enforced by the central government in a particular state only when the scale of disturbances is so large. Leaders of the government of Nagaland, the government of Meghalaya, have renewed the repeal demand. Meghachandra also took a swipe at the Manipur Chief Minister N. Biren for allegedly maintaining silence over the issue. He mentioned that the then Congress regime lifted AFSPA from 7 assembly segments of Manipur without consulting the center. Meghachandra was flanked by PCC General Secretary Administration Harishwar Goswami and spokesperson N. Birender during the press conference.
I will strictly speak on 2 points. Ahanbada disturbed area status Manipur da huzi extend tawraga leiribase masidi state government gi review da leiba border money state government na masidi athuba matamda at any time at any moment masidi state government lokhoke haiba mikupta lokhokpa ngammi civilian singda armed forces mayam singina onjalaga prajada kapase karam state ta thokhibage Gujarat ta thokhibra Andhra Pradesh ta thokpra West Bengal ta thokpra Odisha ta thokpra Jharkhand ta thokpra aso state singda underground activities laiba mayam singsida even sipoi singna prajada civilian singda onjalaga nongmaina kapaga hatpase masi karam state singda leige except in the northeast states. Manipur Pradesh Congress Committee na haijaningi badi Manipur da su koina tongan mafam kaya da hairiba civilian mya mama hatpase koi thokre thengnakhre ningsing bayai Senapati district ki oinam da mi kaya mama Armed Forces Special Power Act gi makhada civilian mya mama hatki bai khoina thengnakhre Hauzik Mon district ta thoiba thodok to degi Manipur da su amuk hana sumaina civilian singda at any time tholoi hainingai leiti. Honorable Chief Minister Sri N. Birender government ki official program da social program kaya da even in the assembly Manipur si law and order fibam si aduki matik hainingai leitana phagre phagale sarkar si BJP sarkar lakpodegi haidana repeatedly press ne media gi digi official meeting ke ada hai gi bai koina thengnare maramaduna disturb area status se masi sarkar sigi matam sida law and order si hanadegi hena phagale hana hairabanina masi immediately cabinet meeting kaubiraga masi hairiba Manipur gi assembly segment taret sinataba lemhauriba jaga singse masi athuba matamda ngasi hayeng thidana masi lip tawbiro masi lauthokpiro haiduna Manipur Pradesh Congress Committee ne demand tawjari.
Truck drivers and small businesses operating along Imphal Moray have been disrupted allegedly by Assam Rifles. Drivers carrying goods along the highway are unhappy with the Assam Rifles, saying the paramilitary force has been acting freely. The drivers are concerned about their income. They say their earnings have been dropped due to the restrictions imposed by the Assam Rifles along the highway. The drivers demanded the Manipur government to look into the matter. A DI driver told reporters that drivers had a bad time due to the pandemic, and now 20 Assam Rifles at Kudeng Thabi checkpost has imposed new restrictions on quantity of goods. Earlier, 50 to 60 bags of vegetables, pulses and other food items were allowed to carry, but now it has been limited to only 40 bags. Apart from this, electronic items, cosmetic items, soaps and fruits are not allowed to carry. Police commandos along the highway also asked money from truck drivers carrying Indian goods from Imphal to Moray, he said.
Moray lambi sida aikoina DI thoroga itu isa thangnaba honariba laik tamnana bo honariba sida awaba mayam mama lairibasi masi hauji hana lambi sida bora nifu jangkai dalal even photo pupi be ja ne na hara me adudagi amaka hojingna bora nifu degi hena puba ya roi na hare thauna lupa lising ni panchare bharana bora amdu lupa chama kalore lauriba lupa chama si bora nifu khak pura ga di thaugi paisa konari bra itu icha na ikoi karai degi thak to ba kam to doriba sigi si aikoi gi sarkarna kitang engjan biraga ikoi se hingna no lambi ma sinbi ba sarkarna puba ya da ba pot ikoi ngasi boda mo pujate adagi tilhau chanam haiba semadi imung khudimaka sijinnabani sijinnariba posi boda bora ni fudi ana puba jaroi hadadi aikoi line si matau karamna chattoino hauji hauji su gari bora ni fudi henna jaroi na haidina ikoi jumda ana ek jawba hoji unaba phangdabai poisan leire.
Manipur in the last 24 hours registered 18 fresh coronavirus infections and 2 fatalities, according to the Manipur COVID-19 Command Control Room. The positivity rate was recorded at 1.2%, it said. The state's COVID tally now climbs to 1,25,496, while the death toll reaches 1,989. The Manipur government COVID-19 Command Control Room on Saturday, in a release, also said the fresh cases were detected from 1,481 samples tested in the past 24 hours. A total of 15 persons were discharged from the virus in the same hours, the control room added. Kumbi constituency intending candidate S. Bira staged a roadshow on Saturday to drum up his support for Manipur polls 2022. Hundreds of his workers took part in the roadshow, which kicked off from Wangu public ground. Over 100 vehicles took part in the roadshow. At the event, S. Bira expressed displeasure over his fragile health condition rumor, saying which such acts could attract legal action. He was discontented that the rumor said that because of his health condition, he will not be able to contest the polls spread up to Delhi.
Ngamba ngamdaba candidate masen lemin nagadabani ngambara ngamgini akabana kahil tuhuguna tuhore aishu mapalak lebe bhoche mari rakar manga ture alo hojik adugumba mayam ma thengnar ka suai koi karagumba candidate ama boy kana bol le paroi haidala masana lo furak panatana ai koina aigi vote pamba ai mi singi machira sunu haidana propaganda lan na taukiba odimak no ngasi numit asidage hangna media ki through da ina singok chari madugumba aranba propaganda tawba sing se asidagi hawna tawbirano karigumba tawrokpa taragadi noi ain lairi haibadumadi khanga sanu haidana kasigi numitchida ai hana singok chari.
Let's take a short commercial break. Stay tuned for more updates.
Karigumba dom yumda laiba anaba singi hidak kappa dressing tauba blood sample loba rice tube hapa catheterization hapa enema tobinaba experience lairaba nurse amati doctor thibada awaba thengnabirabadi wabiraganu Medline Home Nursing Care Service Manipurna pung kunmari chukna adom yumda latuna hidak kappa injection piba dressing tauba feeding tube hapa catheter hapa amadi makhal kya ge anaba sing experience lairaba doctor amadi nursing Tuna mating pangzari akupa marol gi damak Medline gi helpline number 9205987988 amukasu 9205987988 ta call toguna tanabiu natraga Google Play Store gi Medline app download toguna booking tobi.
Welcome back after the break. Awon Uripok organization conducted a free medical camp at Langol Aying Lekai under Uripok constituency on Saturday. Kumbong Mayum Suresh Singh, an intending candidate from Uripok constituency, sponsored the medical camp. This was the second time to organize a free medical camp. Suresh said the medical camp was to provide a little help to Uripok residents facing difficulties in visiting hospitals. He also appealed to the Meira Paibi and local club organizations to seek help from him to organize such free medical camp in their areas.
Silisi anirak suba mandi medical care ni ahan da kasam kai silaga nasinna lambon ingai kai da simani aduga masi silli bisi pandam di koina urupok kendra da leiraga su kidan hospital chakuk sin to da bomcha da mapam yenga rajai bomcha da nabi dam sinja bani any local club natraga Meira Paibina sining ba leiraga su medical care se koida restaurant ga situation check to bani mapam da koi situation sin na nabi dam da arrangement to da lei aduna koina Meira Paibi medical club singa koina Nigeria ni medical care sining mapam leiraga de koi sinja ge aduga adumi mathak da su Sigi medical one day medical camp sing a sigi se nataba hapta kudingi tangja natal numajin kudingi koi kendra urupok kendra koi masi sinanawi jari.
A two-day international conference on human rights and global pandemic issues and response drew to a close on Saturday at SK Women College in Bishnupur district. The conference was jointly organized by Human Rights Department of SK Women College, North Kamrup College, Assam, and Naurem Birahari College, Manipur, under the University Grants Commission (UGC). SK Women College Principal Dr. W. Robindro highlighted on the need to know one's duty and responsibility so as to help solve every problem. He also said the recommendation of the conference will be submitted to the government.
We never remember our duties and responsibility. This is the main issue. So first of all, we have to remember, we have to know our responsibility also. After this, we can face all the problems, and we can. And lastly, I would like to say, that please try to make a point in this recommendation for this seminar. And then I will all the recommendation we will try to send to the government, and will push to the implementation of the recommendation for this seminar.
One person died and 13 others were hospitalized on Saturday following a gas leak at a factory dealing in liquid chlorine, police said. According to police, Damodaran, 43, running the liquid chlorine factory near Chitode in the district, collapsed and died on the spot after the leakage from a cylinder he was refilling. More than 20 workers in the factory accidentally inhaled the fumes and 13 of them fell unconscious, the police said. On seeing this, the other workers went to the rescue and informed the police, who in turn alerted the fire and rescue services. The firemen plugged the leak from the cylinder. All the suffocated workers were removed to hospital, where doctors declared them to be out of danger, the police added. Many people were trapped after a roof partially collapsed at an Amazon.com Inc. warehouse near St. Louis in the U.S. state of Missouri late on Friday after tornadoes and strong storms rolled through the area, local authorities said. The Collinsville Emergency Management Agency said it was a mass casualty incident, adding that multiple people were trapped inside the warehouse in Edwardsville, southern Illinois. In a posting on Facebook, the agency did not give details and there was no immediate word on how many people had been injured or killed. Emergency service vehicles surrounded the scene. Drone footage from the scene showed rescue workers picking through a huge area of debris in the pre-dawn darkness. An Amazon spokesperson said the company was assessing the situation and damage at the facility. One woman outside, Sarah Bierman, said she was very worried about her husband who works at the warehouse. The U.S. National Weather Service had issued tornado warnings on Friday night for areas in several states including Arkansas, Tennessee, Missouri, and Illinois. Before we end today's bulletin, the top news headlines once again. MPCC calls for repeal of AFSPA from Northeast. Assam Rifles disrupting goods movement, says drivers. And Manipur adds 18 COVID-19 fresh infections, 2 fatalities. That is the end of the English Bulletin at 7 p.m. Stay tuned to Pony Television for more updates.